Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Alia Afika binti Alwi. My magic number 1250711. We would like to present our case study about Islamic banking providing financing to weapon factories. First, let me explain the background of this study. Nowadays, the modern financial system is developing very rapidly and Islamic banking institutions face many new and complex financial issues. Unlike conventional banking which mainly focus on profit, Islamic banking must always follow Sharia principle. This means every financial activity should promote justice, public welfare and prevent harm. To solve new issues like this, Islamic scholars use Qawaid Fiqhiyah or Islamic legal maxim. This legal maxim helps scholars make Sharia decisions for issues that are not clearly mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah. The issue in our study is whether Islamic banking should provide financing to weapon factory. Even though the defense industry is important for a country's security, the weapon may be misused for violence or other unlawful activities. Because of that, this issue need to be studied carefully. So, the objective of this study is to analyze this issue by using Qawaid Fiqhiyah. The importance of Qawaid Fiqhiyah is that it helps Islamic banking decide whether a transaction bring maslahah, benefit or mafsadah, harm. This helps bank make decisions that follow maqasid syariah, justice and public welfare.
The next slide is about explanation of the muamalat issue. The muamalat issue that we discuss is whether Islamic banks can provide financing to weapon factories. In Islamic finance, every financing activity must comply with Sharia principles. This means Islamic banks cannot simply focus on profit, but they must also consider the nature of the business they finance. Weapon factories produce different types of weapons and defense equipment. If these weapons are used for national defense, public security, or protection of society, the financing may be considered permissible. However, if the weapons are likely to be used for violence, operation, terrorism, or other harmful activities, the financing becomes a Sharia concern because Islamic prohibits cooperation in harmful actions. Therefore, before approving financing, Islamic banks must carefully assess the purpose of the weapons and their impact on society.
Next, I will explain the relevant Qawaid Fiqhiyah and how they relate to this case. Qawaid Fiqhiyah are Islamic legal maxims that guide Sharia rulings in financial transactions. They ensure that financial activities are conducted ethically, transparently, and in accordance with Islamic principles. These legal maxims are widely applied by Islamic financial institutions and Sharia scholars when evaluating modern financial cases. The first relevant maxim is Al-Umuru bimaqasidiha, which means matters are judged by intentions. This principle states that every transaction should be evaluated based on its actual purpose. In relation to this case, it ensures that the transaction is carried out with a genuine Sharia-compliant objective and not simply to disguise prohibited elements such as riba. Second maxim is al-darar yuzal, which means harm must be eliminated. According to this principle, any form of harm, injustice, or exploitations should be avoided. In this case, it ensures that the transaction is fair and does not cause financial harm or unfair treatment to any party involved. The third maxim is al-yakin la yazulu bishak, which means certainty is not removed by doubt. This principle emphasizes that established facts and contractual obligations remain valid unless there is clear evidence proving otherwise. In relation to this case, it ensures that the ownership's terms and conditions of the transaction are based on certainty rather than assumptions or suspicion. In conclusion, these three Qawaid Fiqhiyah provide a strong Sharia framework for evaluating the case. They help ensure that the transaction is valid, fair, transparent, and fully compliant with Islamic principles.
So now I will present the solution or improvement for weapon manufacturing financing. First, under strict Sharia screening and diligence, bank must analyze the broader impact of a business. Applying the maxim al-umur bil maqasidiha, financing is permissible only for official national defense under international law and must be rejected if a weapon are supplied to conflict zone. Second, by applying the principle of preventing harm, al-darar yuzal, bank must prioritize social safety over profit. Financing must be denied if a product risks being misused in a crime or unlawful conflicts, even if the business is legally registered. To manage this, bank utilize conditional or restrict financing. Funding is strictly limited to defense only or protective equipment, such as bulletproof vests, with a tight contractual clauses to prevent unauthorized third-party sales. To ensure compliance, strengthening the Sharia governance framework is vital. through continuous audit under BNM and AA or IFI standards, and guided by the maxim al-yakin la yazubil shak, agreement must be terminated if a client shift to unethical practice. Moving forward, banks should focus on promoting ethical investment alternative, redirecting capital to high welfare sector like healthcare, renewable energy, and education to serve of public interest. This requires absolute transparency and accountability, where banks clearly disclose project detail to stakeholders, upholding the core value of justice and trust.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Ain Hazwani. So our proposed solutions are based on both Sharia principle and practical financial needs. First, Islamic banks should conduct strict Sharia screening and due diligence to ensure financing is only provided for lawful purpose, such as national defense and not for activities or promote violence. Second, they must follow the principle of ad-darur, which means harm must be removed. Therefore, banks should avoid financing companies that may cause injustice or harm to society. Third, Islamic banks should carry out continuous monitoring because a company's activities may change over time. Regular Sharia review help ensure ongoing compliance. Finally, banks should remain transparent and accountable so customers can trust that their money is managed according to Sharia principles. In conclusion, this measure helped Islamic banks balance ethical responsibility with sustainable financial practices. Thank you.
Now, I will present the summary of our funding. This was the last part of our case study. First, Sharia assessment. As shown on the slide, financing weapon factory is not permissible if it contributes to injustice or unlawful harm. This is because Islamic bank must make sure that their financing does not support activities that go against Sharia principle or cause harm to society. Next, application of qawaid fiqhiyah. In our study, we applied 3 legal maxims, which are al-umuru bimaqasidiha, ad-darul yuzal, and al-yakin la yazulu bishak. This legal maxim help us evaluate whether the financing is Sharia compliant. Al-umuru bimaqasidiha means actions are judged by their intention, so the purpose of the financing must be lawful. Ad-darul yuzal means harm must be eliminated, so financing that may cause harm should be avoided. Al-yakin la yazulu bishak means decision should be based on clear evidence, not on doubt. Lastly, key implication. As you can see on the slide, Islamic bank should prioritize maqasid ash-shar'iyah, ethical responsibility, and the last one, public welfare. This means Islamic bank should not only focus on making profit but also make sure every financing decision follow Sharia principle and benefit society. Okay. Before we end our presentation, we would like to thank our lecturer, Dr. Raihan, for your time and attention. We hope our presentation has been clear and informative. That's all from us. Thank you.